Welcome to Outlook Video's July 2019 show. I'm Roberta Gonzalez-Gregg.
And I'm Christine Hancock, and we are here in San Francisco's Castro District.
This June, we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. Every generation of LGBTQ people is called upon to stand up for our rights. Many thought that winning the fight for marriage equality would gain us complete acceptance, but our transgender brothers and sisters are still being beaten and murdered.
This month's show starts with Santa Clara County's Pride with Purpose event, where county officials stated that they will stand for our community and fight for our rights.
In this show, we will also have Shay Franco-Clausen interviewing Palm Springs City Council member Geoff. They will talk about Palm Springs all LGBTQ City Council.
Unlike some Bay Area cities where raising the rainbow flag is debated or even not flown, San Jose raises the rainbow flag at its city hall the entire month of June. We were there for the annual flag raising ceremony.
Pride Festival for Silicon Valley happens in August and rounds out our summer. Eric Chon will be interviewing Saldy Suriben from the Silicon Valley Pride Board about this year's festival.
Let's get the show started with coverage on Santa Clara County's Pride with a Purpose event.
Welcome to our Pride with Purpose gathering. My name is Maribel Martinez, and I'm the director for the Office of LGBTQ Affairs for the County of Santa Clara. On June 28, 1969, at 1:20 a.m., police raided the Stonewall Inn on Christopher Street in Greenwich Village, New York. That night, a woman of color, Stormé Dewardier, was hit on the head with a billy club and handcuffed. She was bleeding from the head and brazenly turned around to the crowd and yelled, "Why don't you do something?" That summer night, a revolution began, a movement. Exactly 1 year later, the first Pride Parade took place. It was a political demonstration in response to what happened at Stonewall. That was 50 years ago. A lot has changed, and some, unfortunately, is still the same. LGBTQ representation in the media is more visible than ever before. There's an openly gay candidate running for president. And the House of Representatives passed the Equality Act that would provide nationwide LGBTQ protections. Yet, in 2019, we have held continuous vigils for members of the LGBTQ community who have been murdered. We have held rallies protesting protection rollbacks by the Trump administration, attacking primarily our transgender community members. And we have continuously called the alarm to note the disproportionate number of LGBTQ individuals affected by homelessness, job discrimination, the justice system, foster care, among other health disparities. Then, last month, we heard of the murders of Malaysia Booker in Dallas, of Michelle Tamika Washington in Philadelphia, of Claire Legato in Cleveland, and an unnamed trans woman in Detroit. All Black transgender women and LGBTQ activists. Then, on June 1st, the first day of Pride Month, Chanel Lindsay in Dallas, her body was found in a lake. We heard of Joanna Medina Leon, a transgender asylum seeker from El Salvador, who died Saturday after being held for 6 weeks in a private ICE detention center in New Mexico that has previously faced allegations of abuse of LGBTQ detainees. That was in the 1 year anniversary of Roxana Hernandez's death in ICE detention. In Santa Clara County, we decided that we could not go into Pride as just a celebration, but a call to action to ensure that all our community is safe, supported, and free. And that now is the time for all of our allies and advocates to stand up. So we're gathered here to say to our trans and non-binary brothers, sisters, and siblings, you are not alone, and we're here to protect you.
I just want to try to encourage and inspire everyone in the community who takes a stand for LGBTQ community that this is not unusual it's not unusual for us to have to rise up and to deal with attacks, direct attacks, collateral attacks from Washington on all civil rights issues. This has been going on for the entire 200-year history of this country, and I think the LGBTQ community is doing, as a whole, combined with its allies, our allies, a terrific job of pushing back against those waves of bigotry and attack and intolerance and unacceptance that are out there. As every time we push back, we win, and every time we win, we come closer to permanently changing the paradigm in this country. So.
The violence perpetrated against Malaysia Booker, Michelle Washington, and Clara Legato is inexcusable, and my heart goes out to their families, friends, and community. Our LGBTQ community is a critical facet of the diverse culture that is Santa Clara County and deserves to live without fear. As we continue to bolster our efforts within our own community around a culture of inclusion, and particularly I want to call out the critical inclusion of trans women of color, who even in this community are often the most marginalized and the most at risk. We hope that the rest of the country will do the same. Enough is enough.
Coming here to the county 9 years ago, I got to know a man named Ken Yeager. And I thought I was understanding and compassionate and aware. Ken opened my eyes. I'm sorry I don't see him here right now. We text every couple of times a week. He opened my eyes to how much more we, the people, our neighborhoods, our communities, our faith-based organizations, our nonprofit organizations, our service clubs, all need to do to raise awareness and be pro-community, pro-LGBTQ. That's what we need to do. Sitting by doing nothing is not helping. We need to do something. And so I thank Ken, I thank those that I work with here today, Supervisor Chavez, and I thank all of you, and the county especially, for taking a proactive role in raising awareness in this community and doing the right thing. And that is what is so important. Doing nothing is wrong. We need to do the right thing.
This is really about raising our voices, and one of the things I love about living in this place is that we gather together, we support each other, and this is really an expression, I think, from the Board of Supervisors and from myself, of love, affection, and gratitude for the leaders who came before us and really fought for civil rights, opened up the eyes and hearts of a nation to make change in our community that's meaningful. So
this county has shown a lot of leadership in LGBTQ events, and also making sure that we are the first county to have an office dedicated to the issues of LGBTQ individuals, transgender, non-binary, and everyone who is treated poorly in our community because of their gender identity. We've also been the first to have the policy of flying the rainbow flag and the transgender flag every day. And we have a community of supervisors that really value all of our LGBTQ members of the community and include them. Please continue to move in a positive direction. Inclusion and diversity are values that locally make us a better place, a better community, a better county, and we need to move ahead.
Just last week, we filed hate crime charges in a very serious and very distressing case involving a man in Sunnyvale who ran down a community because he thought that this little girl and her family were Muslim. And I listened to Geoff Rosen, and I was very touched by his comment that we have all thought about this day and hoped it would never come to our county. And it reminds me of these senseless murders that are happening, and we hope that never comes to our county. But what I want to tell you is you have a district attorney's office who cares deeply about this community and will zealously fight and will zealously represent you. I speak in community groups, and what I often hear, and it makes me sad to hear, is that members of your community don't always feel heard and don't always feel well treated by the law enforcement community. And what I want to tell you is that at the District Attorney's Office, we hear you, and we are here for you. And we encourage you, if you feel misunderstood by law enforcement, if you feel that you're not being heard and you're not being understood, we will hear you. So I encourage you, if you hear of stories, we are here to protect you, and please reach out to the District Attorney's Office. This is my specialty, this is my passion, and I am here to help you.
Violence against the trans community is not isolated to physical violence alone. It takes on many forms. It's verbal, it's emotional, and it's mental, and that often escalates to extreme physical violence. I personally have been the target of such attacks, and such hatred is spewed against the trans community individuals on a daily basis, and it's especially seen towards trans women of color. BAMEC stands with the trans community, and we stand with the entire LGBTQ community and our allies to demonstrate that our community is strong and that our community is united in respect and in love. We will not be intimidated or forced back into the closet that our predecessors have fought so hard to open. Thank you.
And what I am so proud about with respect to Santa Clara County is not that we're just, condemning the violence. That's a given. That's the least that we can do. We're actually committing ourselves to helping this community be empowered, so that it's not we doing something for the transgender community, but the transgender community at the table having a voice on what it needs to be done to support themselves. And one of the things that we have done, I see Supervisor Chavez here, we opened the first LGBTQ focused homeless shelter in her district because we want to have a place where our homeless LGBTQ population can go. Many of them feel safer on the streets than in our shelter system, so we know that we have work to do. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing. Dr. Smith pushed for the opening of a gender clinic in our downtown clinic so that transgender men and women in this county don't have to travel outside Santa Clara County to actually get basic medical treatment. All of us who reside, who live in this county, who are part of this community, we should expect that our county agencies serve us. We shouldn't have to travel outside the county to be served, so that's part of it. But we are also working on other things. We actually have a transgender program within the LGBTQ office because we want to know what else it is that we need to do for the community. And something as basic as applying for a county job, I can tell you that filling out a form that is not culturally competent does not feel welcoming for many of these prospective applicants. So we have a lot of work to do. And the thing that I would say about this work is that it makes sense that it is Santa Clara County that is leading the way. It makes sense that it is Santa Clara County that created the first LGBTQ office in the country. And it is going to be Santa Clara County that is going to set an example for the rest of the state and for the rest of the country on how to include, respect, and empower the transgender community. So happy Pride, everyone.
Later this month, we will be releasing an outreach tool with local, regional, and national LGBTQ resources, as well as hosting our inaugural LGBTQ Summit on June 21st with national experts to share information about how the work must be done to support our transgender community members. Thank you for joining us today. Happy Pride with Purpose. We hope to see you at Pride events throughout the month and at SB Pride in August. Thank you so much.
I'm Lee Daniels, and you're watching Outlook Video.
Shay Franco-Klassen here in City Hall in the beautiful city of Palm Springs, California. And then I'm sitting down with Mayor Pro Temp, Geoff Kors. Thank you so much, Geoff, for taking time to meet with Outlook Video today. And first, I would like to start because you have a very long history of fighting for equality. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you decided to run for office here in Palm Springs.
Sure. I first got involved in LGBT rights politics in my mid-20s in San Francisco, working on the domestic partnership campaigns, and became a member of sort of the executive board of the Harvey Milk LGBT Democratic Club, And that was sort of the start. And then in 2002, I was brought in as the interim executive director of what was then CAPE, the California Alliance for Pride and Equality. I was offered the job as executive director in 2003 as Equality California. And during my tenure, we passed over 70 LGBT rights bills.
Yes, you did.
And many I wrote and came up with the ideas for. In fact, the equal benefits law that San Francisco pioneered in the mid-90s was my idea. And we wrote, and that resulted in hundreds of companies giving domestic partners equal benefits. You and Kate Kendall, we were having dinner, and she's like, come work for National Center for Lesbian Rights and do our policy and legislation. So I said, sure. So I did that for 4 years. And then in 2015, when one of our city council members decided not to run, a bunch of people said, you should really think about this. And I thought about it. I thought, that would be a great experience. I've done work at the local level in San Francisco. I worked for Leslie Katz. I worked in City Hall. And I worked with the Milk Club on legislation. So I decided to run and did very well, came in first place in a 6-person field. And so I've been on council for a little over 3 years, and I'm up in November of this year.
And how's it been? I mean, it being an all LGBT city council, how has that been in your career here in Palm Springs and the work you do?
Sure. It became an all LGBT council a year ago, the first probably in the country and probably the world to have the first all LGBT government. And as importantly, having the entire spectrum represented, right? Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. And to have the first transgender elected political official in California is amazing. And on the other hand, appalling. It took till 2017 for that to happen.
Very true.
We have one judge. I worked on Vicky's campaign and
helped
her a lot.
Yeah.
But for political office, it hasn't happened before. But what I think was so amazing about it, and there are several things. One is just the message it sends to young people around the country in places that aren't Palm Springs or San Francisco. I started working on campaigns at 13, right?
Wow,
and
really?
I was really involved in politics, and everyone assumed I'd go to college and come back and run for office. But being gay in the 1970s, when I was in high school, I didn't know that there was any out elected official. There may have been one somewhere, right? There were no GSAs, no one was out. And finally, when I was probably a junior in high school, Harvey Milk got elected.
Yes.
And then 9 months later, he was assassinated. And so you sort of take off the thought that maybe that's a good career choice, right? To be openly gay in politics.
And you lived in San Francisco, so that's very close to.
Yeah, I was in New York at the in high school, but I moved to San Francisco, and it was a much more open environment, which was great. But I think the message it sends to people who aren't in a place where there are open elected LGBT officials and they don't see themselves reflected in their government or any profession, you sort of think, I can't really do that. And so I think the message it sends, the other message I thought which was so important from this, and we were honored at the state legislature for the LGBT City Council, and I actually shared that it's a little weird being honored for simply who you are. But what we really, in my mind, were being honored for was for what Palm Springs is. That in a city where polls show it's probably 60% of the voters are not LGBT, 40% is a high number.
It's very high.
But it's not the majority.
Right.
It didn't matter. In a place where people work together, socialize together, volunteer together, all those fear of the unknown and stereotypes just go away. Christy being bisexual, Lisa being transgender, those weren't the issues in the campaign as they are in other places. It was who was the most qualified. And so to me, it was an example of the world we want to live in. Right, where people are judged on who they are and what they want to do, and not on their sexual orientation or race or gender or religion. And so the next election, it very well could change, and that's fine, totally fine. We want the best people.
Right.
But the fact that people voted for the best people who happen to be all LGBT was really empowering, and I think sends a great message to the rest of the country and the world.
Well, it did when that happened. Everyone in all over the communities, I'm in that community, we shared like crazy and was so, screaming from the rooftops, because I always say, the youth can't be what they can't see.
Right,
and
exactly.
You're a great example of what can be and where they can fit in.
No, we want everyone to have a voice here.
Right.
I think we've seen an impact from it, and we just need to keep going because that work never stops.
Well, you are just a wonderful contribution with all your history with legislation, the LGBT community. And, you know, I want to thank you personally for making sure that me and my wife could, you know, when we weren't married, could share benefits, because that's a huge problem in our community.
Absolutely.
So
and it was such a huge problem, you know, and the equal benefits law. I mean, people weren't getting the same health care, you know, and so many other benefits.
Geoff, again, thank you for sitting down and having this interview with Outlook Video.
We love to get mail from you. Email us at comments@outlookvideo.org.
To contact us by phone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Visit our website at outlookvideo.org.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/OutlookVideo.
And connect with us at facebook.com/OutlookVideo.
Has made great progress since 1969 in supporting our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters. It is still imperative that we stand together as a community in support. That's why it's such a great honor to raise these flags today. The rainbow flag has flown every year since 2001, and the transgender pride flag has flown since 2016 in this city.
We are happy to be here to celebrate the great diversity of our city and this incredible community. And also, this is a call to action for us. I think we know in 50 years that we are commemorating the anniversary of that fateful day in New York. We also recognize we have a long way to go. And certainly, as we look at, for example, the county study that came out just 5 years ago on the status of the LGBTQ plus community, that we have more work to do as a city to better serve our community.
We too also have a certificate of recognition for the Billy DeFrank Center and for Gabrielle and Tolovich for all that they do to promote LGBTQ equality and the diversity and inclusion. So thank you very much. This month we celebrate 50 years of the Stonewall Uprising, and while some cities still refuse to raise the flag and others like nearby Dublin waffle, we in San Jose proudly raise it along with the transgender flag. So thank you very much, City of San Jose.
I am really heartened that San Jose City Council and the County Board of Supervisors and our state elected officials support us despite what's going on in Washington, D.C. I am also heartened by all the volunteers that have brought the Billy DeFrank Center back into action, and a wonderful nonprofit that is volunteer run.
Hi, this is Eric Chung, and I'm here with Saldy from Silicon Valley Pride, and we're at the Capitol Club for a Taste of Pride event. This is being recorded in end of June, and we just wanted to let you know what's coming up in our August Silicon Valley Pride. And so, Saldy, what is this year's theme?
So this year's theme is diversity in strength.
And what does that mean to you or to us as a community?
So, as you know, in Silicon Valley, we promote diversity and inclusion, and together we promote strength.
Oh, cool. So when is the Pride event? It's in August. Is it like the third weekend or?
So Silicon Valley Pride LGBTQ plus Parade and Festival is on August 24 and 25 of this year, and it's always last weekend of August at Plaza de Cesar Chavez Park in downtown San Jose.
In past years, the Saturday night has been an evening event. Can you tell us more about what that will be this year?
So the night festival theme this year is 70s Disco Party, just to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. As you know, it happens in 1969, almost close to the disco year.
Is there anything new or new features, new things we should be looking for this year?
So let me backtrack on that. For Saturday, August 24, we do have our annual Transcend Friends Rally. This is our second annual. Then after Transcend Friends Rally, we're doing a Q community stage. So we're gonna have two stages, one in main stage and also one community Q community stage on Saturday.
Okay.
Then on Sunday, we're gonna have our main stage and also our Hey Girl stage, focusing on the queer women community.
Oh, wow. So the Saturday night party, is that a family-friendly place where people can bring their kids?
They could bring their kids, absolutely.
Oh, great. Okay. And what about Sunday? Tell us a little bit more about the event.
Sunday is our big main event.
Right.
We're gonna start with a parade from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay.
In downtown San Jose.
Right.
I believe starts on Julian Street and ends at Plaza de Cesar Chavez Park. Then on the festival on Sunday, we're gonna start it from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. with activation from activities such as the Hey Girl area or / Hey Girl stage, the Family Garden, the High Tech Pavilion, the main stage. Also, of course, we will not forget our leather community, which is we're gonna have a Leatherland.
Oh wow, that's a lot of stuff that's happening. That's awesome.
We want to be diverse as much as possible.
Be inclusive, and bring all the community members.
Definitely.
Right. Is there a fee for getting into Pride this year?
So for this year, we've decreased it, and it's gonna be $5 per day.
Oh, great!
And we've started that since last year.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I think it was been a problem for some people.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to volunteer for the party, how would they do that?
So in order to volunteer, you could you could sign up via SB Pride /volunteer, or you could email us at info@svpride.com. Again, our Silicon Valley Pride 2019 LGBTQ+ Parade and Festival is on August 24 and 25 at Plaza de Cesar Chavez Park in downtown San Jose. For more information, please check out svpride.com. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Saldy.
Thank you, Eric. Happy Pride!
Happy Pride!
Outlook Video is made possible by contributions from viewers like you. Find us on social media at Facebook and YouTube. We close this month's program with scenes from this year's San Francisco Pride Parade.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in next month's special Pride edition of Outlook Video.